Welcome to CAS SDS Basic Track for Winter 2018. Today we will be installing Django, a web framework in Python, with Python virtual environments for both Python 2.7 and 3.x. This will be specifically the Windows tutorial. We have detailed instructions for Windows, Linux, and Mac at our GitHub repository. So right here you can see the URL. We'll have that linked somewhere, and this has a detailed list instructions on how to do what we are about to show today. So the first thing you're going to need to do is go to python.org/downloads and click these two pretty buttons right here. So those are going to download the 2.6 MSI installer and 2.7 MSI installer. We're going to run both of those today. So I'm going to install the 3.6 first. Make sure to click this Add 3.6 to Path. This will install Python 3.6 and pip for Python 3.6 as well. Successfully installed. Now we will install Python 2.7. Install for all users. We want everything. This doesn't seem to have the path option, so no need to worry about that. Okay. Once that is done, come down to the Start menu and open PowerShell, but right-click on it and run as administrator. It's important to have make it have elevated access. I already have one open. Create a folder where you want to store your virtual environments and source code. We're going to actually, for this tutorial series, we're storing our virtual environments separate from our source code, so we don't have to worry about checking them in or ignoring them. So I have environments folder inside this SDS folder. So I'm going to confirm that I have Python installed. The other way I can do this, and also, let's see if this terminal has the link. So, as you can see, I have two different syntaxes here. I have the standard Python TAC version, but this is only linked to my 3.6 install. Actually, it's really interesting. Here's I have another version of Python installed, and we can't go past. So, the Py syntax, because on Windows you don't have Python or Python 3, allows you to specify your version number like this. For R means this will work, and then you can check the version. And this, the PyTac2 links directly to the interpreter. It handles finding it on the Windows and handles managing the different versions. And then to access 3, you can just do PyTac3. So that's how we're going to be managing our different versions today. We can also check to make sure that we have pip installed correctly on both versions using this command. Remembering pip, don't use that. So it's tac-m pip, and then we're checking the version. So you're accessing the pip module from the Python 3 interpreter. And we're going to do the same for Python 2. So, next things, we're going to install the virtual environment package using pip for both Python 3.6 and Python 2.7. Accessing the module, pip, install virtual env. I already had it. You will probably see a download progress bar, and then it'll install. If you ever do it again, it'll have a cached version and be a lot quicker. For all also installing it for Python 3. And I already have it installed for Python 3. Okay. So now we're going to actually make our virtual environments inside this folder that we've specified for virtual environments. We're going to do this by, again, using the Py tag 3. We're going to make the Python 3.6 virtual environment. Now the module that we're going to access is virtualenv, the one we just installed. And we're going to specify the name of the environment that we're going to reference in the future to activate this environment. So what this is doing is in my current folder, and just creating a folder, another folder that contains copies of all the binaries to the Python 3.6 interpreter, and anything that you access with pip will be installed directly to that folder and not the whole system. So we'll also create one with Python 2.7 and name it something else. Now, if I look at what's in my folder, I have both virtual environments. So, to activate a virtual environment, we'll start with 2. So first, before I do that, let me see what my Python version is, just Python outside. It's 3.6. So if I change into environment 2, see what's in there. There's this scripts folder. I'm heading there. Here we can see there's a whole bunch of files. What we care about is this activate file. It will automatically determine if you are a CMD shell or a PowerShell, which we're using right now. You can just activate your virtual environment by calling /activate. And right here you can see that it worked. It gives us the name of the virtual environment in front of our prompt. And we're away. Now we can check to see what our Python version is for just the Python keyword. It's 2.7. It's correctly linked us in. We can also check this for pip. Again, 2.7, and right here you can see that this it's actually inside of our virtual environment folder. So now inside this virtual environment we're going to install Django. So this is pip install because we don't need to worry about the syntax, the calling it from the Python interpreter because it's already correctly linked to our Python interpreter when we're inside the virtual environment, Django. And now, here's the issue with versioning. The newest Django version, 2.01, at the time of making this video, is not compatible with 2.7. It's only compatible with 3.x. So we have to specify an older version of Django, 1.11. We do this by saying install Django and then equals 1.11, the version number. This is actually downloading and installing only to this local folder. And we will be able to confirm this by checking the version of Django through Python when we are inside the virtual environment, then checking it when we're outside the virtual environment or in the 3.6 environment before we install Django. And we shouldn't see that it exists, or if it does, it has a different version number. Hopefully I don't already have it installed globally. Check this with Python accessing the Django module and ask it for its version, 1.11. That was successful. So, to leave, going back to my root environments folder, to deactivate from a virtual environment, just type deactivate. And it gets rid of that prompt, and you are outside the virtual environment. Let's see if I have it globally. Django, that is. I do not. No module name exists. So now we're going to activate our virtual environment for 3.6. That's scripts, and then inside of that the activate file. And right here you can see 3.6, and if we call Python version 3.6, This should also work here, showing us that this pip is indeed inside our virtual environment. It's executable itself. So we can run the same thing that we did before, but we don't need to specify the version this time because with Python 3, well, before I do this, let's see if this virtual environment, just to prove also that it doesn't have Django yet. No module named Django. Excellent. So now we can pip install Django, not needing to worry about the version. And this Django will be installed inside the other virtual environment file. So if we ever wanted to get rid of this dependency area, we could just delete that folder and we would be good. We can check to make sure it is correctly installed now by checking the version, and we should see the most recent version, 2.01. Excellent. So now we have Django installed in both environments. Let's start up our Django web server in the Python 3 environment, which we're already in. So remember that we're keeping our source code separate from our virtual environment, so I'm moving back a directory into my SDS folder. And I'm going to now create my source code folder with a command supplied by Django. And it's Django admin, and then start project, the name of the site. I'm just going to call it my site. You can see this creates a file for us, or a folder. If we change into that folder, we can see that we have another folder named my site in this manage.py file. If we look inside my site, the other my site folder, we see we actually have our Python files automatically created for us by Django. We will get to this in the next tutorial. So, first thing we need to do is initialize the database by calling python manage.py. This is the Django database. Migrate. Okay, that's created. And now we can create a super user now that our database is initialized. Using python manage.py, create super user. Name it anything you want. Just an arbitrary, since this is an example, email. Oops. And then a password, and we confirm it. Then the big step, python manage.py, run server. This is starting a server on our local host, port 8000. And there you go. We successfully are running Django inside of a virtual environment, and we installed 2 different versions of Django inside 2 different virtual environments, and we have our default Django web page posted saying that we don't have anything running yet, but it is working. Bye.